Welcome to today's episode, my friends, as we break down Flame of Fate. This is the hard mode for Cookie Alliance Season 2-4 for you here today. We're going to give you the 4 T's. That's the team, the tactics, the treasure, and the toppings in order to help you succeed and progress past hard mode here in Cookie Alliance Season 2-4 Flame of Fate. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe and like today's video. On top of that, if you got a question, if you got a comment along the way, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And feel free to join us in the Discord server, my friends. All right, Flame of Fate it is. We're going after this reward right here. We're going to be successful and hopefully lock down the pristine skill powder choice chest for you here today. Let's get into it. Couple things in terms of this one. We do have some different and new, well, slightly, in terms of suggested elementals. We've had poison before, we've had light before. The new one here is fire. So if you're thinking about focusing on the previous 2 runs as well for Cookie Alliance, those would be the 3 that you can invest in. We'll talk a little bit more about poison here in a second. Now, on top of that, we got some new effects. We have attack down, we have buffs down, we have debuffs up, we have max HP up, and then additional new one, cooldown up. All cookies cooldowns increase by 30%. So as we progress, the stuff gets harder and harder and harder and becomes key to our strategy in order to be successful. Now, the other thing here is we do have these waves. We do got to go to wave 20 now in terms of getting by and taking this thing down. So that is all she wrote in terms of some of the tactics and things for us to pay attention to. Now, some tips and tricks though. First and foremost, Beacon of Valor. Make sure you use this thing. The blast mode is always very nice. Now, on top of that, biscuits. Put the biscuits on your cookies. We got topping guides and biscuit guides for you here on the channel. You can check those out. We'll have those available to you down below as well. We have them in a playlist, so you can find everything right there. Now, don't forget to use your artifacts. Artifacts that I would spend are for light and fire. Now, you certainly can use poison if you'd like to. We'll talk about that here in a second. So make sure that you're using those and leveling things up. I would start at least getting them to 10 and then slowly figuring out and moving things around where you would like to. There we go. We put it on Earth because we're putting it on Earth, even though that's not an elemental suggested here today. I'm trying to have some fun. All right, so let's get into it in terms of our teams. Now, a couple things and methodologies when it comes to the team setup. First and foremost, a lot of times players like to try and have a single team. Can you get through this with a single team? Yes, I believe it can be done. Now, additionally here, you may not have all elementals in one team. That's the strategy that we're going to run. We'll talk about that here in a second. You can certainly have teams broken up into different things. If you're going to do that, typically, here's my suggestion. Have one defense cookie, definitely a healer, and then depend on supporting or damage dealing cookies, depending on the cookies and the teams that you're building. So that's very, very important. And in terms of cookie synergy as well. Now, a couple things about this. Skill elements are right here. So here is the easy way to kind of figure out how you want to build it. We'll show each of ours in terms of what we'll be doing. I've gone light, earth, water, fire, and ice. So 5. Now, one of the things here with poison, if you're looking to build a poison team, I would suggest 1 defense cookie and 1 heal cookie and 3 of these poison cookies here to round out your poison one. Why am I suggesting that? We don't really have a healer and we don't really have a defense cookie. Now, if you're good at using prune juice here can be a good blend in terms of defense as well, which would allow you to have not the defense cookie and think about your team structure a little bit differently. A good option and example is the Beast Yeast episodes here on the channel. You can check those out. All right, so those are a couple of key points, tips, tricks to skill elementals and suggestion there for poison. When it comes to our team setups, we will be focused on attack and cooldown for everything in terms of our treasures. I want to make it easy for you. Old Pilgrim Scroll, Dream Conductor's Whistle, and Squishy Jelly Watch. Now, certainly you can move things around. That makes sense for your team if you want to as well, based off their levels and all those things. In terms of each of our teams here, this is our water team. These are the toppings. Typically, we'll recommend Resident. You grab Resident where it makes sense, and a lot of the stuff that is prevailing and depending on what's available to you. Now, certainly you can blend those as you try and drive your perfect cookie. and toppings. Now we do have the perfect guides for you here on the channel. Not only for how to top, but how to calculate getting a perfect topping. So you can go ahead and pause on what makes sense for you here. And then when it comes to biscuits, do as I say, not as I do, because that's the way to do it. All right, so here's our fire team for you. Here's our toppings as well. So you can see those, and I'll keep everything where it's at just because this is what we use to get by. Here's our earth team. Again, here we are, my friends, when it comes to that. Next, we have our ice team. Typically, I try to order these as well based off of what you're going to hit as you're kind of going by. Again, a lot of these change-ups can happen, and if you need to move your team orders, we'll show that here in a second. There you go, is our light team. You can use team order. Why this is nice is because if you do build teams specific to elements like me, that way you can move things around depending on what you're hitting as you progress here. And this team is similar for the first two modes as well when it comes to Ember of Fate, Light of Fate, and Flame of Fate, which is we're on today. Now with that concludes the tactics, the team, the treasures, the toppings, and biscuits as well. And additionally, a lot of the tips and tricks in order to be successful. Let's put it to the metal here and run hard mode, my friends. And once again, make sure you put those biscuits on where it makes sense. That's the easy way to quickly move up and make your team way more powerful. As always, we do have swag and merch available to you. Thank you so much. Big thing here is we do only have 5 minutes, so you want to make sure you can take these things down quickly. That is going to be key. Now, our water team most likely can actually run this whole thing here, my friends. Look at how fast it's ripping through it. So you can always keep that in mind yourself as well. However, I do kind of want to show you a couple different things. I could let that be. In terms of our teams. Now, we'll try and rotate in here as we hit the right key components in terms of elementals. So let's see where we're at next. Poison, we don't have the poison team. Let's throw in our lovely, lovely one right here because we're going to come back to fire anyway. There we go. Now, one of the things to be careful of there is this, debuffs up. Why this Earth team works well for this one is because we got the multi-hits that we got to take care of and get out of the way. All right, here we go. Kumio Cookie Wave 12. Now, don't forget, we do have to go to 20 on this one, I believe. So, let's keep going. Now, poison is done. We'll have fire and light. Time to run the light team. Let's go for it. Here we go. Now, this stuff does start to make a big difference. As you can see here, we're kind of slowing down. The big thing is trying to get through this stuff quickly before everything else starts to stack and we run into problems there. The opponent's max HP is quickly going up, which is why we need to blow through this really fast and get by. All right, here we go. 16. Dark Choco Cookie and Friends, as we like to call it. The faster you can do this, the better off you are. All right. Now we're on to fire, so we can flip back to fire. We're going to need to do this quickly for 3 minutes because we want to get by. Cooldown is now up. One thing to pay attention to there. There we go. All right, careful of data corruption here. There we go. On to the last wave. Wave 20. Remorseful Sugar Swan. Can be a bit of a challenge. Good thing we got the right fire team to break this down, take it home with plenty of time. Look at that. See, we're starting to get damage dealt to us as well. We did lose Tart to Tan. We got through, my friends. And there you go. The good thing about Cookie Alliance is you can lose cookies, make it through, and make it happen. There you go. Magic Relic Chest. We'll take it. And there we are.
'Tis cold and silent.
It is.
At last.
Very nice. All right. So that concludes Cookie Alliance hard mode. for us here today. Flame of Fate, unlocking the 50 pristine skill powder choice chest for you here today. Let's get back into it here. We gave you a lot of tips and tricks in order to be successful. We broke down some styles of play. We went with the elemental team structure for you here today. Additionally, on top of that, we gave you the 4 T's. That's the tactics, the team, the treasures, and the toppings in order to be successful, my friends. If you still have questions, if you got comments, let me know. I love to hear from you, and feel free to join us in the Discord server. We've got a great active community there as well. Thank you to everyone for that, and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Thank you for the likes and the subs as we continue to grow this amazing community here. On top of that, thank you to all of our members. We do have memberships available to you. It's a nice way to support the channel. It gives you emotes, icons, priority response access, other things there as well. And we do have affiliate links. If you're looking for cool stuff or items, those kinds of things, check it out. We got a lot of great stuff, particularly CookieRun stuff as well, for you there. Lastly, at me, chat me, as I like to say. We got socials there to stay connected for us. Love to hear what you have to say. Love to see what you're running. Love to see your teams. Love to see your gacha. Great crowdsource ideas for the channel and content, so thank you for that. With that, onwards, upwards, my friends. CookieRun, Cookie Alliance, hard mode. It's now yours. Keep on running. We'll see you again soon. A lot more headed your way.